Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Chapter 1, The Two Dads. Robert Kiyosaki grew up in Hawaii with two father figures. His poor dad was his biological father, a highly educated man who worked as a government employee but always struggled financially. On the other hand, his rich dad was the father of his best friend, Mike, a successful entrepreneur who understood the principles of wealth. One day, Robert and Mike asked Rich Dad, "How can we become rich?" Rich Dad smiled and said, "If you want to be rich, you must learn how money works." This moment changed Robert's life forever. Chapter 2, The Power of Money. Rich Dad taught Robert and Mike a crucial lesson. The rich don't work for money, money works for them. Poor Dad believed in working hard for a secure job and relying on a paycheck. But Rich Dad believed in financial education and investment. He explained the two mindsets. Employee mindset, work for money, depend on a fixed salary, and fear financial risks. Investor mindset, make money work for you by investing in assets like real estate, stocks, and businesses. Rich Dad encouraged Robert to build assets instead of relying on a paycheck. He said, "Your wealth is measured by how long you can survive if you stop working today." Chapter 3, The Importance of Financial Education. Rich Dad emphasized that schools teach students how to work for money but never teach them how to make money work for them. He introduced the concept of the cash flow quadrant, which consists of each employee works for someone else. Self-employed owns a small job, works for themselves. Business owner owns a company, hires people. An investor invests money to generate passive income. Rich Dad advised Robert to move from the employee quadrant, E, to the investor quadrant, I, by building passive income streams. Chapter 4, Making Money Work for You. To illustrate the importance of financial intelligence, Rich Dad gave Robert and Mike a job at his store but paid them very little. When they complained, he said, "Most people work harder for money instead of making money work for them. Learn to recognize opportunities." This forced Robert to think creatively. He and Mike noticed that customers threw away comic books at the store. Instead of discarding them, they created a small library, charged kids an entry fee, and made passive income. This lesson taught Robert, opportunities are everywhere, but only those who are financially educated can see them. Chapter 5, The Difference Between Assets and Liabilities. One of the biggest lessons Robert learned was, the rich buy assets, the poor buy liabilities. Rich Dad explained, assets put money into your pocket, e.g., real estate, stocks, businesses. Liabilities take money out of your pocket, e.g., loans, cars, expensive gadgets. Poor Dad spent his salary on liabilities like a big house and a new car, which made him financially unstable. Rich Dad, however, focused on building assets to create long-term wealth. Chapter 6, Taking Risks and Thinking Big. Rich Dad taught Robert that fear is the biggest obstacle to wealth. Many people avoid investing because they fear losing money. But he said, winners are not afraid of losing. The only way to learn is by making mistakes. He encouraged Robert to take calculated risks, invest in businesses, and always seek financial education. Conclusion, what Robert learned. Robert Kiyosaki ultimately followed Rich Dad's advice. Instead of becoming an employee, he became a businessman, investor, and financial educator. He learned that money is a tool. If you control it, it will work for you. Build assets, not liabilities. Financial education is more important than job security. This mindset helped Robert achieve financial freedom, and today, he teaches these lessons to millions of people worldwide.